NFL? I certainly think they make one hell of a case to be. And as the Buccaneers begin training camp today, sports director at WTSP TV, CBS 10 Tampa, Evan Klosky joins the show to break down his takeaways from Buccaneers training camp so far, including Mecca Ibuka's potential this season, Desmond Watson's role in the Buccaneers defense and whether he's the next Vita Vea, Shiloh Sanders, the main man, his performance in Buccaneers minicamp, OTAs, and training camp, and so much more. All this and more here on Bailey Price Media Live on the other side. Welcome back to another edition of Bailey Price Media Live.
Bailey Price Media, I like it.
Everybody, happy Tuesday. Welcome back to another edition of Bailey Price Media Live. Today we're talking all things Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the main man, Evan Klosky, coming over from CBS 10 Tampa, joins the show to talk all things Tampa Bay Buccaneers football as they begin training camp today, reported for training camp today. And do they have the best wide receiver room in the NFL, especially after drafting a Mecca Ibuka? I certainly think they can make the argument. But if you're tuning in, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, become a member of the Bailey Price Media Army today. I cannot thank you enough for watching and tuning in. This is going to be a great show here on this fine Tuesday. When the main man, Evan Klosky, joins the show. Lots to talk about. Was just on 0 to 60 with our main man, Bobby Pesaveno, talking all things Colorado Buffaloes football. We broke down our tight ends, wide receivers, and offensive line. Matt and I have been doing an all-time Colorado Buffaloes team, so to speak, and we broke that down over on 0 to 60. So go check that out if you haven't checked that out. We got a good week planned as well here tomorrow on Bailey Price Media Live. Alcorn State coach Leroy Frederick joins the show, talk all things college football news. And we're less than a month away from the season. I'm so excited. So much to talk about. Before we bring in our main man, Evan Klosky, I want to go and react to something here. Predicted order of SEC, predicted for order of finish coming from SEC Media Days. This list came from On3. Remember how the Big 12 started last year and everybody predicted Oklahoma State was going to win it, et cetera, et cetera? I really think the SEC is going to cannibalize itself just like the SEC. I think the SEC is going to cannibalize itself like the Big 12 did last season. I think two teams that stick out on the bottom, in particular, Arkansas and Taylor Green and Coach Pittman down there. I really think they're in due for a good season, a better season, better than 14th in the SEC, I think. And then Vandy, I'm wearing the shirt today. I think they're going to be a lot better. Their win total is at 4.5, which I think is ridiculous, especially with Diego Pavia getting another year. Got his all of his coaches down there, the Jerry Kill effect. And, I think they're going to be legit as well. Clark Lee is a great coach down there. I think South Carolina, like I mentioned, is going to be a team to watch. I think LSU is going to be down this season. Same with Tennessee, losing their quarterback, Nico this late, getting Aguilar, who I watched last season. And I think he's a good player, but I don't think he was better than Nico. So I think they're going to take a step back due to that. Especially he's got to adjust to a new system this late in the offseason. I just think it's going to be tough for them. Nonetheless, I will mention Josh Heupel does have a pretty quarterback-friendly system, so that could bode well for them. But still, I think Tennessee, until I see it on the field, they're in trouble. Those are my thoughts. Another news going around the NFL, Honey Badger Tyrann Mathieu retired today. I thought that was interesting news, maybe telling about the New Orleans Saints, with the Saints in trouble. That's something to watch, but the Honey Badger announced his retirement after 12 seasons. Hell of a player coming from LSU. I remember watching him getting drafted, falling in the draft a little bit due to some off-the-field issues, and ultimately was drafted though. But without further ado, we got a lot to talk about, and we got a very, very special guest here to give us some insight on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Without further ado, I can't thank him enough for joining. I know he's a busy man. Our main man over at CBS 10 Tampa, main man Evan Klosky joins the show. Evan, happy Tuesday, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Can't thank you enough for joining, man. And can't wait to talk some Buccaneers football with you. I got to ask you, it's on the thumbnail. Do the Buccaneers have the best wide receiver room in the NFL, especially after drafting Emeka Ibuka, Washington State kid like myself? He went to Stellacombe High School coming out of the state of Washington, going to Ohio State. I think he's a great kid. And how do you feel about the Buccaneers wide receiver room going into 2025?
Yeah, I spent 4 years in Spokane, Washington, so I have a deep affinity for the state of Washington, their football out there. Married somebody that went to Washington State, so sorry about the West Side over there. But yeah, I mean, as far as the wide receiver room for the Buccaneers, I don't know if they're number one, but they're certainly top three, in my opinion, when they're at full go. We don't know what Chris Godwin's going to be like entering the season. They're going to take it slow with him, make sure that he's ready to go and progresses at a timeline that's comfortable with him. Not to mention he's a veteran who, beginning of July, or the beginning of training camp at the end of July, like he's not missing much there. It's foundational stuff. They got a lot of other players to look at. Having said that, Godwin, Evans, Emeka, like, man, that is such a strong three. Then you bring in Jalen McMillan, a UW kid. That's your wide receiver four. Then you factor in Cade Otton, who's kind of a fifth receiver now, and it's really just it's embarrassment of riches, and they have depth behind those guys. Sterling Shepard is a veteran in this league, and in a perfect situation, he's just there to pinch hit for a couple of games. Somebody who will be in the right spot at the right times. We saw a boatload of these guys behind all the injured players of Godwin and Evans last year, featured in games. Tez Johnson was drafted this year and will compete for a backup wide receiver / punt returning role. So they really have a great top of the line wide receiver group, but they also have a lot of depth where if there are injuries, not saying that wouldn't hurt because it absolutely would, but they can probably hold their water for a little bit, assuming that some other people can pick up the pieces.
Yeah, one thing is for sure. I think Baker got a lot of weapons going into the season. You mentioned Cade Otton. He's another state. He's from state of Washington as well. Tumwater High School. Trey Palmer. I think you got in that wide receiver room as well. I got to ask you though. I want to highlight Emeka Ibuka. His potential in the Bucs offense this season. What is his role? Kind of describe his role in the Buccaneers offense, and then his potential. How do you feel he's going to be and as a rookie in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super high on Emeka Ibuka. Everything has been great from what we've heard within the walls of One Buck Place. Also, coming out of college, obviously at Ohio State, I don't think many people understand. A lot of people do, but some casual fans don't, of how hard it is to play right away at wide receiver at Ohio State with the rooms that are there. And he did. I think the best compliment he's ever gotten is that he's never going to be in the wrong spot, right? You can depend on him. And I would imagine that this is a dude who's going to play a long time in the NFL. As long as he's healthy and doesn't have a catastrophic injury or any of that, you're looking at one of the safest choices in the 2025 NFL draft. And starting the year, if Godwin's not ready, he slides right into that slot position. Then if Godwin comes back, you maybe don't have to run Godwin, these crazy amount of snaps. You can have him kind of bob and weave with, creating Godwin and Emeka. And even though maybe the snap count isn't what either of them are used to, maybe in the aggregate, like, when you put the team together, that's going to be a surefire slot guy who's going 100% at all times, great at blocking. So, I mean, Emeka, the pro comp to him a lot of the times was a Chris Godwin. So that's, he's the heir apparent. But I also think that Emeka can spot at any wide receiver position if he's got to fill in for Mike for a few plays or whatever it might be. So I see Emeka being a big part of this offense. I don't know how many, I don't know what his snap count's going to be, but he's going to get time on the field. He's going to certainly have his moments, and he's going to do a lot of the dirty work as well. So I'm really excited for Emeka, and I think that was a slam dunk pick, not just for this year where it was a little bit of a luxury, but I think Buccaneers fans are going to fall in love with him as the years go on.
No, 100%. I think especially as the years going forward, he's going to make a mark in Tampa. Let me ask you, Game One, if Chris Godwin's not ready, you expect him to start in the slot Game One? They drafted him in the first round. I would certainly hope so. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, if Godwin's ready, Godwin's going to
Yeah.
be out there starting day one in the slot. But my assumption is that since they have a Mecca, they can take it easy with Godwin. And Godwin did this a few years ago with the ligament injury he had, and he came back week one, and then he kind of had a hamstring issue, which probably was the fact of maybe not being all the way there complete, or some of his muscles not necessarily being fully trained up to full speed. So maybe they're learning a little bit from that experience. And not that Chris Godwin would be maybe he's a healthy and active to start the season or whatever it might be. But if Chris can be out there week one in some sort of role, they're going to have him out there. So
Okay.
Emeka, time will tell on that. We need to get into really middle of August before we have a good feel for how things are going. But my guess is you're going to see Godwin start from not participating to going into 7-on-7 to going into 11-on-11 and working his way gradually through the next 6 weeks.
No doubt, no doubt. Going back to Ibuka, his performance so far, Bucks minicamp, Bucks OTAs. How's he, taking in the system, learning the system, and fitting in with Baker Mayfield as his quarterback so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think Baker's said that Ibuka doesn't act like a rookie. Certainly, already coming off like a pro.
Hmm.
The character grade that the Buccaneers had on Ibuka was the best that they could possibly give him. It was through the
Nice.
roof. So they have a great person. They have somebody who's been diligent in his work. Certainly, his athletic skill set takes over when he's on the field. As I said, he's always in the right spot. So. As far as I know, as far as I've seen, everything with Emeka is a-okay. And now that we get into training camp, we'll start thrusting him into some more game like situations, and we'll figure out him a little bit better here soon.
Good, good. That makes me excited about his potential. I really think, as the season goes on, as him and Baker build that chemistry, going through practice and stuff, you'll get a lot of reps. Obviously, Baker gonna throw to him a lot. They'll build that chemistry, and I think as the season goes on, Emeka's gonna really leave his mark for the Buccaneers. Evan, I can't thank you enough for joining. Let's go ahead and I got a couple rookies. I'll continue to ask you about. So I cover Colorado Buffaloes, do a Colorado show with the Colorado NFL, Colorado alum NFL offense and defense line. His name is Matt McChesney. Shiloh Sanders. I wanted to ask you about Shiloh Sanders. I always thought he was in a great spot with Tampa Bay. I don't know how you feel about the safety room, but I think there's potential for Shiloh to make the team and potentially work his way up in the safety room at some point. But just how's his performance been so far? How are the coaches liking him? And then how's he taking in the defensive system in Tampa with Todd Bowles obviously calling the shots?
Yeah, look, with Todd Bowles' system, it's very hard to get on the field right away, even if you're a first round pick, defensively speaking. Now, some are going to do it, right? Tyke Smith just did it last year. I expect Jacob Parrish and Benjamin Morrison to compete for spots as well, with Parrish probably finding a way on the field. When it comes to Shiloh, we're going to see. I mean, I like everything that I've heard about him. I like what I've seen from him and how he's acted and the way that he's kind of interacted with the veterans on this team. I think he's been welcomed with open arms. Now the big thing with him is there a roster spot? And that's the biggest question. For him to make the 53-man roster with how this team is built, he's going to have to contribute on special teams. That's a little
Yeah,
bit of an unknown right now. I don't have any of those opinions because we really got to see the preseason games of what he can do there. But,
exactly.
Antoine Winfield Jr., Tyke Smith, Christian Isian, like there are those are three surefire guys ahead of him in the pecking order. So it really kind of leaves like one safety position, and you just don't know how that's going to go. And there, as I said, there's Parrish. There are a bunch of options and ways they can do this thing. So um, my gut is Shiloh's not going to make the team, but that
Okay.
would not be that's nothing of like a demerit to him. He's an
Yeah.
undrafted free agent. Typically, that's how it goes. Find a spot on the practice squad, go a year into the development system, which is what the Buccaneers like to do.
Mhm.
Um, last year, good example of that is Devin Culp, who was, I know, a seventh rounder, also
Oh,
a Washington kid.
Washington kid.
That,
I
yeah,
grew up right next to him. Knew him. Yep. Go
yeah.
ahead.
So Devin Culp, I mean, was seventh round pick, development project. He did make the team, but was a healthy scratch for most of the season. I mean, going up to like I think the last few weeks there before Otten got injured, he had a couple of games where he was active on the roster, but didn't really see playing time. And then, showcased himself there down the stretch, made some big third down catches,
Yeah.
and really proved that, hey, the 12, 13 weeks on the practice squad gave me the necessary time to learn the playbook, things to slow down, all these things. There are a lot of those stories with the Buccaneers, who are one of the best at developing players. They have the most, or they're a top 5 team in terms of players they drafted or brought in,
Yeah.
becoming a part of their 53-man roster. So again, that's I don't say that as anything against Shiloh. He's coming to a team that has won the division 4 straight seasons, has been to the playoffs 5 straight years. This is not a team that is looking to rebuild and learn on the fly with some of its players. Certainly, if he goes out there and proves that he's worthy of a spot and can prove that he's better than the people that are there, Todd Bowles is going to be open to that because that's how he does business. But he just came to a veteran laden team,
Yeah.
and I don't think there's any harm. Like I don't think it's like an anti Shiloh Sanders thing for him to follow in the path that many others. On this Buccaneers team have done in the past, and I think him being a part of the system for a year for anybody under a Todd Bowles led system is great. I will
Mhm.
say that Shiloh gets a leg up probably because of his father, and he's just been around football for a
Oh
very
yeah.
long time. I don't think the Todd Bowles playbook will be as daunting to him as maybe some
Right.
other rookies, but still, it's probably going to take a little bit of time and to ease himself in. But my first look at him, like the size really jumped out. Like he's a big dude for a safety,
Oh yeah.
which is I know that Todd's gonna like that. He likes the thumpers.
Yeah, and that's the one silver lining here. He always Shiloh reminds me of Jordan Whitehead, who used to be play for the Buccaneers. He reminds me not as big. Excuse me. I think Shiloh's probably a little bit bigger than Jordan, maybe not, but those type of box safeties, not the super quick hips guys. Those guys that are box safeties that'll hit, kind of like Jamal Adams. That's why I was like, man, Shiloh could be in a really good spot with Todd Bowles if he does, works his way up in special teams, does the little things, which we're hoping to see here and we'll expect to see come preseason. But we'll see with Shiloh. I wish him all the luck, and he is in an uphill battle to make the roster, but he is resilient and he's got a good attitude nonetheless. Evan, I can't thank you enough for joining. One more rookie I want to ask you about, and he's in the picture here with Shiloh. Man, here, Big Desmond Watson here. Gotta ask you, 6'6", massive human being. You guys also have a massive human being, Vita Vea from the University of Washington as well here. Here you see Watson and Vita Vea kind of lining up here. What is this defense line going to look like? Is Desmond Watson really a part of it? Kind of break this down, his role and how he's been doing so far in Bucks minicamp, OTAs, etc.
Yeah, I mean, Big Dez is a local product here in Tampa, from the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah.
So we're really happy to see him. The thing that sticks out is Vita Vea. When he met him the first time, was like, this is an enormous human being. And anybody who's ever seen Vita Vea knows that he is an enormous human
Yeah.
being. So when an enormous human being is calling somebody else an enormous human being, that other person is truly a ginormous human being. But Desmond, I would imagine, because now look, he could have been drafted if somebody fell in love with him, right? He
Right.
like Desmond, the thing that probably holds him back, and he's really shed some weight. It's gonna be cool to see him tomorrow when we head out there for training camp practice. But uh, he is right now fulfilling kind of like a typecast run stuffer role. He's not someone who's going to be quick enough from the inside who's going to get to the quarterback. Like maybe he can
True.
push the pocket back, but otherwise, I think you're looking at tush push. Um, you're looking at run stuffing on goal line. Like I think there are some packages that are meant for him, but those guys are typically hard to carry on a 53 man roster when it's like, hey, I only have like 10 to 20 plays lined up for him, and like if you don't have a goal line or a 4th and 1 situation, right? Like there's a chance that you just burned a spot on your roster like for that game without utilizing a player, and every spot on those game day rosters are critical. So that's the one thing that holds Big Dez back.
Mhm.
They paid him some money as an unrestricted free agent. I would imagine they're going to try to wiggle him into the roster if they can, because again, they compete in a conference. If they really have Super Bowl aspirations, you have to learn how to stop the tush push,
Yeah.
and that's going to be the Eagles. You're going to face them week 4. You might have to face them in the playoffs. Other teams, I'm sure, are going to try to pick up the tactic, right? Like it just succeeded for another vote. It wasn't shot down this time around. So you imagine others might try to adopt it. So if the tush push is more of has more staying power in the league between him and Vea, well, that's going to be a problem getting that extra yard when you have a human like that. So we'll see. I mean, ultimately, we got to see Dez work and how he utilizes that weight against NFL offensive linemen who, you know, understand leverage and understand how to take advantage of slower moving guys, even if they're huge human beings. So, and these O linemen can lift enormous amounts of weight too. So, that's he's a project. He's a little bit of a project.
Yeah.
I think the hope is of what he could be would be like incredible with him and Vita Vea in the middle, but I would temper expectations, and we have to see what he can do and how he kind of holds that weight against NFL offensive linemen to see what his future role is. But like guys like him, guys like Shiloh, they're different than what like Emeka Ibuka is, because Emeka is like ready. Like I mean, that
Yeah.
guy is
Exactly.
you plug and play him. He's ready to go week 1 coming out of college. Shiloh and Dez are going to need some development work, and again, no shade to them. That's just part of their journey. Part of the reason why they were undrafted is because they're going to need a little bit more time, and that doesn't dictate how their future is going to be in the league. It just means that right now they're going to have to be a little patient.
100%, 100%. Both projects, indeed. But I think for Big Des, I think like you mentioned, there's an opportunity with the Bucks running the 3-4. If they ever go, like you mentioned, short yardage, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. You go into Bear and Cub, and you have Vita Vea and him like. Fuck. I'm just saying, as an offensive lineman. Now, what you mentioned is also very true. It's how he uses his size, because I can tell you from playing center as an offensive lineman, someone like that, I really feel like as a smaller offensive lineman, I can get under him and move him, which I'm sure other offensive linemen in the NFL could feel that way. Now, it really depends on how he uses his size, his strength. Can he use his hands, get off the block? We'll wait to be seen, but I'm rooting for him. I think there's a lot of potential. I think they're certainly expecting to use this project here, because just when I saw this clip here, just a screenshot, it's like, as a football guy, I was like, man, please just Big Des, keep working, man, because there's a lot of potential here that makes me excited just as a football guy.
Yeah, and I mean, and you understand, a lot of people out there understand that, when you're in college, certainly high school, right? Your athleticism is so much better than a lot of people that are around you. You sometimes don't need to be a technician. Even
Yeah.
in college, for someone like Dez, he's so much bigger than the other offensive lineman he's going up against. You don't really have to be a sound technician to be effective. Now you're going to the NFL. Everyone is a sound technician. So just being big or just being super athletic, like that's not going to be good enough. You have to be able to marry your God-given abilities, which for Dez is his size, with starting to become a little bit of a technician, understanding what offensive linemen want to do to you, understanding that they're going to want to undercut you and go low, and like, can you meet them at the point of attack and utilize your size that way and get down there? So that's going to be his journey now, and we're going to find that answer. If he can do it, like holy smokes, what a get this is. But if he can't get that, the fear, if he can't get that weight in order, I am worried about his ability
Yeah.
to handle offensive linemen just going low on him, because it's it's I think it'll be mitigated.
100%. And I mean, as a guy who's 6'6", it's going to be easy to get under his pads, and that's I mean, as he's a nose tackle, he's going to be going against a lot of centers. He's going to be really quick off as they snap it, get under. I mean, it's we'll see how he develops his technique. That's going to be a big thing for him and how he uses his strength. But I don't know if the Buccaneers have any plans of pulling off what the Gators pulled off and giving him a carry in a bowl game. But nonetheless, I'm really excited for Big
They
Desert.
tried it. The Bucks tried it with Vita last year.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
It didn't work last year. Dez got a carry in the bowl game. It worked barely. So those things are greater in our minds than probably the reality of it. Just because I think we all take for granted how much speed is necessary in this equation versus just being an enormous human being.
Yeah.
Like these NFL defenders, they're dogs. They are going to make the tackle, and they're not going to be afraid of getting these people down, especially when I got full speed on you and you're just trying to gear up on me. So, it's a huge object, don't get me wrong, but there are some players who actually think that it's a little bit easier because there's no shiftiness. You know exactly what's happening. They're coming downhill on you, hit your landmark, and like you're done. And just hopefully you don't get trampled in the process, but you're going to have some help from some other people around you as well. So there's some give and take. I certainly enjoy it. I was jumping out of my seat last year when Dez got the handoff here in the Gasparilla Bowl, which was also in Tampa. So certainly that was fun. But we'll see if that package ever comes to light.
Absolutely, Evan. It's been an honor. My father's from Tampa. It's great having a Tampa guy on the top Buccaneers. Man, love getting your perspective. Would love to have you on during the season, my man. Can't thank you enough. And, man, can't wait to see the Buccaneers in 2025.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you, and have a great one.
Absolutely, you too. Shout out to the main man, Evan Klosky, over at CBS 10 in Tampa for joining the show, giving us a perspective on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, talking Shiloh, talking Emeka Ibuka. I'd sure love to. They got several products from the state of Washington that play for the Buccaneers. Ibuka coming from Stellacum. You got Kate Otten coming from Tumwater, and several others that I'm missing off the top. Vita Vea played at UW. Devin Colt played at UW and in the state of Washington. Off the top of my head, put Gonzaga Prep off the top of my head. Shit, I might be wrong on that, Colt. But nonetheless, great show here. We'll be back on actually tomorrow. We're going to be live here 3 p.m. Eastern here on Bailey Price Media Live with Alcorn State coach Leroy Frederick, talking all things college football news. I got a lot to talk about in the college football world, the NFL world as well. We have a lot to talk about, and man. Pretty much less than a month, folks. Almost there. Man, I can't wait for football season. If you're watching, hit that like button, subscribe, become a member of the Bailey Price Media Army. If you like to donate, hit that super chat button and leave a donation. I appreciate all the support, man. I can't thank you guys enough. We really, working to build this channel up, working to build this show up, building a community here. The premier show for NFL and college football coverage here on Bailey Price Media Live. We'll see you guys on Thursday, folks. I appreciate you watching. Thank you, and I appreciate all the support. See you guys. Actually, we'll see you guys tomorrow, Coach Fred. Peace.